Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Nerds with Friends. My name is Cody Leach. As always, I'm joined by Christian Garcia.
See.
So, a couple new things. Got a new light. Thank you, patrons for helping support that.
Patrones.
We also have a new camera set up that hopefully will not have as many technical issues as the previous one we were using. So, fingers crossed. Let's see if this works. Again, thank you, patrons, for supporting us on that. You guys made it possible to get all this stuff and not bankrupt ourselves. So thank you very much. If you would like to become a patron, check out patreon.com/nerdswithfriends. For a couple dollars a month, you can help support little upgrades like this and keep this show rolling.
And keep us hydrated.
Yeah. Well, Christian didn't get any patron money for this. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the recent UFO hearings in Congress, which, as of recording this, happened yesterday, right? Yesterday? Tuesday?
Yes.
And for you guys, it would have been last week, if you're listening to this right when it comes out. You guys seem to love UFO talk so much last time. We figured we'd give it another shot because we want them eyeballs on the old YouTubes. If you are just joining us for the first time, welcome to the show. This is Nerds with Friends. Normally we talk nerdy stuff like comic books, TV shows, movies, video games, stuff like that, but we are also some alien nerds. So if you want to skip straight to the UFO talk, it should be about halfway through the show after we do our little intro. So don't get mad in the comments because we don't talk aliens right away. All right. Well, let's start the show like we normally do, where we do our nerdy confessions, where we confess some things that make us nerds. Christian, what makes you a nerd this week?
Two.
Oh, my gosh.
It's a two.
Okay.
Mine's never go long. So first one.
They literally always go long.
So the first one is I just got Ash versus Evil Dead, the game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's dope. I like it. It has a lot of the characters from the original and the new series. So it has King Arthur, it has Ash, of course.
Of course.
It has Pablo from the new season, and I forgot the hot girl's name. But
Xena, Warrior Princess?
No, she's not. At least I haven't unlocked her if she's in there.
Oh, yeah.
She'd probably be on the demon side. So what's dope is that you can play player versus player, so you are either on the good side or you are one of the demon lords.
Ooh.
And yeah, you can actually do the freakishly flying part and like scare the crap out of one of the heroes.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's dope. See, maybe Cody get it so we can play. I recommend it. It was fun. And second part, nerdy confession is, dude, I'm starting to have a real Capcom situation like the Cody has with the CGC.
Wait, the comic book grading?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I love them in the sense that when I buy a book, it's graded. I know when the value goes up, I can, set a price going by what it's going by,
right.
What it's graded. What I fucking hate about them is I submitted some books back in 2018, which
my God.
I think was it wasn't the last time we were at Comic-Con. I don't remember. I think it was Silicon Valley.
Oh, okay.
Where I submitted them. I have 2 books that I still haven't received yet.
Dear Lord.
Emailing them back and forth, and I haven't gotten them. It's the Uncanny X-Men. I think it's 4 something. It's the one where they're dressed in the Giants gear.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have a couple of those.
When the Giants had won. So I knew they were going to get graded pretty high.
And that was also when they had moved from New York to San Francisco.
Yeah,
that was that inaugural issue.
Yeah, so it was awesome for us Bay Area folks, and like I called them yesterday.
So that comic book was from the last WonderCon that was here.
Yep, that we had, and then they moved to Anaheim.
Yep.
Fuck Anaheim. You guys got Disneyland, so you're all right. So I called them, and I'm like, hey, I haven't received this book. I'm looking at the orders. Like, what is going on? I've been very patient, and they were like, there's a balance due. Oh, okay. What for? Oh, I don't know. The fuck you don't know? They're like, we just need your credit card information. It's like,
bullshit.
Like, let me get this straight. I called in because I haven't received my books. Yeah. You're telling me I have a balance due and you can't tell me why? Oh, it's probably for shipping. It's probably for shipping.
Excuse me, I'm going to need a little bit more than probably to hand over my credit card info. Person on the phone.
And then they're just like, oh, yeah, well, I have to talk to the billing department, and then I have to talk to the shipping department and see what the disconnect is. I'm like, okay.
Well, let's figure that out.
So yeah, you want my card first.
Now, what if this was an Action Comics #1? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and I paid insurance. I definitely paid insurance for these books. I'm like, you know what? They're valuable to me.
Yeah.
I know they may not be too valuable if I try to sell these later on. And they're like, oh, no, it's for shipping for sure. And it's like, okay, so earlier you said maybe or probably, and now you're saying for sure.
For sure, yeah. Can you just send me a invoice, please, with an itemized thing? That would be great.
So reluctantly, I'm like, fuck, I want these comic books. Like, I felt definitely like I was like in a hostage situation where I'm like, if I don't give them the money, then I'm for sure never getting these books back. Yeah. So reluctantly, I gave them my card number, and I was like, you know,
what was the balance due?
It was like $37.
Okay,
like, whatever,
so
it's
not
fine.
Terrible.
It's not. It wasn't.
It's the principle.
It's the fucking principle.
Yeah,
it's like 4 years. I haven't had these books in my hand.
Also, like, why haven't they contacted you
at all?
Right. It's
at
just,
all.
Yeah. I hate that.
The only reason I was like looking for those comics the other day, and I was like, I don't think I ever got these back from when I got them graded. And then I did my own diggies. Like, I never did. I was like, holy shit. I thought maybe because I had moved from one place to another, maybe there's some boxes that I can't find, but I'm usually very fucking good with my comics.
Right.
And yeah, and then they just hit me with there's a bill, and it's probably for this, probably.
That's the worst. Yeah, you know, one thing that's funny is as we get older, and we're getting older, Christian, I hate to admit it, but we are. It's always interesting to me when you run into a business that's a large established business that has no idea what's going on.
No, none.
You know, and it's just like, dude, what the fuck? To me, you know, I've worked retail my entire life essentially, and customer service is always super important to me. If you're an asshole, or if you're lazy, or you're fucking up, that's my biggest pet peeve. If you make a mistake, that's fine. People make mistakes, but own up to it. You know what I mean? Sure. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. We've had these so long. Also, we haven't contacted you. I'm taking care of the $37.
So, right?
Right?
Like,
a little something.
All right, I definitely.
That's our bad. Let's make it right. But when it's just like, yeah, I mean, we don't know why you owe us money, but give it to us.
And you know what it is? Yeah. Is that they know it's just them and
the other one that no one cares about.
Exactly. So you're not gonna fucking go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Plus
they have your shit.
They have my shit hostage. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
I know.
And the thing is, like, I didn't say, but I was thinking, is like, I called customer support. Don't feel very fucking supported right now.
Support me.
It's like fucking at all.
I know. Yeah, I mean that is kind of the racket with that CGC, and also they charge you based off how much the book is worth.
Yep.
Right.
So if it's an expensive book, the grading is much higher, and then you could get a shit grading. And
right. Exactly. And it's like that doesn't seem fair to me. Like, the whole point of having this graded, right, is to retain the value and get it judged and sealed into a time capsule, essentially. And so it's crazy. Like, if you find, you know, you're going through your grandpa's old comics and you get like a Detective Comics 37 or whatever, whenever Batman showed up, or number 10 or whatever it was. Or, you know, you get a Super Action Comics #1, right? If you get an Action Comics #1, that comic book is worth over $1 million.
Yeah.
Right. So they're going to hold that comic book hostage for, you know, whatever, 10% of $1 million. You know, what are you supposed to do?
Not only that, like, they take it and then they mail it to you. Yeah. So now you got a fucking third party you're dealing with. We all know how amazing the U.S. Postal Service is. They never lose shit.
Well, you know, them, and like, I know we're kind of shitting on the Postal Service, but like UPS and FedEx are just as bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, if not worse sometimes. So
then you have to pay the insurance in case it gets lost.
Right. To
get paid back for it. So
yeah, and so realistically, you have this thing that's worth all this money, but you may have to sell it to pay for grading it. You know what I mean? It's kind of shitty.
Yeah, so I just decided moving forward, fuck CGC. I'm only going to buy books that are already graded, or
especially when it's a high-profile book or something like that.
Yeah, or if it's a comic book I really want, and I'll just there's few trusted people like, hey, what do you think this would grade at? So I would just go by that, and after that, like, fuck it, I'm not getting them slabbed.
Right. Yeah, I think, you know, and it's funny. I think that's part of the reason why there is like an upcharge on pre-graded ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I already invested X amount of dollars into getting this
And
graded.
all the hassle, and they called me. They had it for 4 years and charged me an extra $37. Someone else dealt with that, so you're paying for it.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Fuck that.
Yeah. My nerdy confession. Recent news: the She-Hulk trailer just came out. Right, we both watched it
yesterday.
Yesterday it came out for us. Last week for you guys, and people are already shitting on it for a number of reasons.
Let me guess. Am she you?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people like upset that they're like, oh, it's just they're just feminizing the Hulk. I'm like, first of all, She-Hulk's been a character for years.
Okay, so to piggyback off yours, I
Yeah.
saw a guy who tweeted yesterday, I've been reading comics for 40 years, and like, why? I could literally name 10 other characters that I would love to see get a show before she has. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like no one really cares. Like, bro, if you've been, first off, you look about 40.
Yeah.
So out the womb, you've been reading comics, and you fucking don't know She-Hulk? Like, come the fuck on.
I
like,
know. Like I do.
She's been around since what, the 80s?
I want to say either early 80s, late 70s. I guess we could look it up.
Yeah, so she's been around over 40 years, and you don't fucking know?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like I do understand the sentiment that like, oh, there's other heroes that like I want to see first. Like that's a fair argument. I can understand that. But the kind of the way I look at it is that we can have this kind of first appearance 1980. So
there you go.
We're right there. The Savage She-Hulk #1. I can see that argument, but I like this idea because She-Hulk was never a replacement for the Hulk.
No.
Like a big part of her character, at least in any of the She-Hulk instances I've read, and I haven't read that many, but she's always a side character who is tied to the Marvel universe or the mainline heroes because she's a lawyer and because she's related to Bruce Banner. And I think that's a cool angle to take. And it would be nice to watch one of these Disney Plus shows that doesn't have a huge impact on the main MCU. It can be a fun thing off on its own. And, we're not going to get let down like we were with, some of these other ones that didn't lead to as big of a revelation as we thought, So I'm actually stoked for it. A lot of people are complaining about the CG too.
I am one.
Which I can understand that as well. But, it's one of those things where, the same thing is true with the Hulk. If you look at him too long, it's, you can see it looks kind of fake. So I think, 10 minutes into the first episode, you'll kind of get over that, and it'll be okay.
My thing is just from the trailer. It's just, they show the Hulk, they show She-Hulk, and it's like, for me, because they first show She-Hulk, I was like, oh, they didn't give it the budget it needed.
Sure.
But then you see Hulk, you're like, okay, wait, why is he rendered so much better than she is?
Well, I think a big part of it too is they already have the assets from the Avengers movies. So
they just skinned it over there.
Well, I feel like creating that character, designing it digitally probably takes a long time and a lot of money. And they've already done that with the Hulk. So they have whatever, I don't know much about CG. I'm not pretending like I do, but I imagine they have those assets that they can ship over from the Avengers movies. And that takes off some of the brunt work of having to redo it from scratch.
See, that was my second thought, but there's like, wait, Abomination, it's been a while since we've seen him, and he looked
It hasn't been that
good.
long. Shang-Chi.
Oh, that's true. They did in Shang-Chi.
Okay.
I didn't think about that. I was thinking about, whatchamacallit?
Edward Norton
Norton's.
Hulk. Yeah.
But he looked great. I'm super happy that he's in it.
Tim Roth.
I feel like the show's still going to be great. Yeah, I might piss and moan about the CG right now, but I feel like, at least from that trailer, it's given us the elements and the hints that, okay, it's going to be good. Like, I feel like they're going to have to really fuck it up in order for it not to work. I mean, we got Hulk teaching her how to, like, control, her hulkiness.
Right.
And then we have...
and I like the actress. I forget her name. It's like Tatiana something.
Yeah, she's from Orphan Black.
Yeah.
And
I like her, and I like, one of my guilty pleasure YouTube channels that I watch from time to time is The Critical Drinker. You ever watch that one?
No.
he's the Scottish guy who's, he's definitely one of those complainers about the diversification of the MCU and stuff like that. But it's hilarious too, so I can't help but watch it.
Is he doing it like to be funny, or he's serious?
It's hard to tell sometimes.
Okay.
It's one of those, like, he's definitely making a comedic video, but it's hard to differentiate if he actually believes that like diversity has no place in these movies and stuff like that, or if he's playing it up.
Yeah, because I've definitely seen guys that are playing a character where the
Right.
character feels this, but it's painfully obvious he's making fun of people who feel that way.
It's hard to tell because he's flirting. He's walking the line.
Okay.
But yeah, he did one, and he's like, I can't, it's just another one of these shows made to push forward the message, which is like diversity and like women and
The message.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I don't see it that way. I see this as like a lighter MCU entry where it's like, we're not saving the world. We're dealing with a smaller, self-contained story, and dealing with the more human side of superheroism, and I think it'll be fun.
So I don't know this character, but I know some people on Twitter were excited. I don't know if I believe it's Frogman, the guy that came out that looked like the Green Ranger.
Oh yeah, I don't know that one.
I don't know,
but that
him
was cool.
either.
I did figure that was, I figured that was some Easter eggy person, but yeah.
We'll see. Do you think Daredevil will show up?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it would be hard to have a lawyer MCU show without him.
Right.
So I'm hoping that they do, but we might get like a Foggy Nelson or something like that.
Even Fogg would be great.
Yeah.
I love that actor. I don't know his name, but he's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it, and I'm excited for a Disney Plus Marvel show that we don't have to go crazy with, like bold predictions and like conspiracy theories and like, is Mephisto involved and what does this mean for the next MCU movies? I just want this to be its own thing.
I'm happy they didn't show who the villain is either.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I'm hoping it's just
I'm
not
sure Abomination, has his moment in it, but also we see that Abomination is not quite the terrible villain that he was in the first Hulk movie, because he and Wong are like buddies now or whatever. So I'm actually looking forward to an explanation of that, and that relationship. So
because they had him in the Loki tank, right? So I mean, it looked like I'm assuming that's what it was.
Yeah, the Hulk-proof tank or whatever.
Yeah, where they would just just drop him if he.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I'm excited. I think that's going to be a fun show, and I'm looking forward. Let us know what you think of the She-Hulk. And if there's anyone who's going to be in the MCU, it's She-Hulk, right?
For sure.
Yeah, right? Okie dokie. Well, we're going to take a quick little break for a word from our sponsors, whoever they may be this week. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some UFOs. So we'll be right back. And we're back. All right, Christian, let's talk aliens, right?
We need the fucking guy with
the fucking aliens. That guy, Ancient Aliens, dude.
By the Ancient Aliens channel. I mean, the
History Channel. Dude, History Channel has gone off the rails. I think they ran out of history. They're like, oh shit, we only have so much history that we can go over. Now it's time to start making shit up.
I don't know if that's the case, man. I've seen they've done so many
like
great
they did like
World War II stuff.
They have, for sure. But there's only so much you can do about World War II. You know what I mean? Like, we get it, right? We know, we've seen, the Pacific theater. We've seen the European theater. We've seen the Rommel and his tanks. It's like, okay, we get it. World War II is great. Just watch Saving Private Ryan, okay?
I feel what had happened was that they were like, someone pitched an amazing pitch. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't a great idea, an amazing idea, but just knocked it out of the fucking park. And they were just like, all right, let's give this ancient aliens thing a try. And then people just fucking
Went
loved
crazy,
it. And they probably saw a spike in viewership.
And they're like, oh, we forgot there are people out there who want to see, entertaining stuff. But they also did that mermaid documentary.
Yeah.
I remember.
Oh, that was definitely after.
Was it after?
Oh,
yeah. Because I remember watching that. I think my roommate was watching that, and I sat down and watched this. I'm like, this isn't real. And she's like, I don't know. It's on the History Channel. I'm like, there's no way. And then they actually showed the worst CG mermaid ever. I'm like, yeah, I knew it. And I went back into my room. All right. So the reason we're bringing up aliens in general is Congress recently had the first hearing, I guess you would call it, right? Concerning UFOs, or as they're now known, UAPs. Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon. Not as cool as UFOs. Like, why change it? You know what I mean? Like we had a good thing going. UFOs, everyone knows UFOs, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the connotation with aliens and whatnot. But they recently had a hearing where the UAP task force kind of went over their findings and kind of cleared the air about some of the stuff that has been going on in recent years. And since like the last we heard, there was like 120 incidents. Now there's like over 400.
143.
143. But now there's
there's 400.
400, yep. Right? 400 reported sightings, and some of them are like barely anything. Like they showed one image, well, like one really quick little scene, I guess, this of some helmet info of this like little ball.
Oh, that's a witch for sure. It's a witch flying.
Sure.
100%.
Definitely a weather balloon or something, of this little like speck, right? And it's like the whole thing was like the whole video was like a minute long, and it was like zip, and it was like over, but like it was out of focus. It was in like cell phone aspect ratio, right? And it just like it was very quick, and then it was out of frame.
From what I saw, like a bunch of the moving ones, the 400, like they obviously had way more that were reported, but they took the 400 that they were like, all right,
there's a little something to look at.
Then all of those were basically flying against the wind. So they were like, okay, we're ruling
Against
out
the wind.
It's like we're ruling out like
they were flying against the wind. Little Bob Seger.
I don't know who Bob Seger is.
I'm
sure
fuck?
If I heard some more music.
Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band.
Silver Bullet sounds familiar.
Well, that's how you kill werewolves.
That's probably why
and
I know
vampires.
That. Maybe aliens.
Maybe aliens.
I don't know. But yeah, so everything was flying against the wind. So they're like, okay, so this is definitely not like a weather balloon or not something that's being just pushed by the wind. This is something that's definitely propelling itself. Right,
exactly. And they were saying, one of the key reasons why there have been such an uptick in sightings and incidents is that, first of all, our sensory systems have gotten better. We got, more cameras, more, telemetry and whatnot. But also there's just like, even civilian people, there's more like, drones and stuff. Like I have a drone, anyone can go down to a local Best Buy and buy a drone. So there is quite a bit more civilian stuff coming in too. So
well, also, and like now, like one of their guesses on the uptake of why there's more now is so pilots seeing UAPs, is that what they're called?
UAPs
is not a new thing. Mm-hmm. Like they've been seeing them like since we've been in the air.
Right.
It's just that a lot of them would not report it. They're like, I'm not reporting that shit. I'm going to sound like I'm fucking crazy, insane, or they're going to take away my license.
They're going to ground me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's like, that's how I make money, bitch. I'm not going to fucking say it. So a lot
I'm a peacock. You got to let me fly.
Exactly. So a lot of them now are like more comfortable, like
Right.
stating what they're seeing. It's like, all right, there's less stigma.
Less stigma around it. Yeah.
They've even now started adding, like, I guess, a recording button on. I guess they have lap keyboards. Pilots, I don't know, maybe jet fighter. So now they started adding a button so they could just record right away.
Yes.
They can start getting that information.
What they need to do is they need to put the share button like they do on PlayStation, where like you're like, let me go back half an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Or like the double tap on the iPhones, where you just double tap the back.
Yeah. I heard about that, and
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Yeah, of course. Because no one
I think
does.
you have to activate it. You have to change it in settings or something. But
that's so you can get the cops faster. When they're beating up colored people, you just got to be like, bah, 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 bah. You just got to.
Can't say colored people.
Yeah, you
Jesus
can
Christ.
if you are.
I don't know. You're a little too pasty.
That's
to be
true.
Using that kind of lingo. All right, let's take a look at what the New York Times has to say about the old thing here. So, Pentagon officials testifying at a House subcommittee hearing on Tuesday showed previously classified video of an unidentified aerial phenomenon, a UAP. A fleeting color image of a reflective spherical object speeding past a military fighter jet. The congressional hearing was the first in more than half a century to focus on military reports of unexplained phenomena, the current term for UFOs, and a chance for lawmakers to prod the Pentagon for more information. It was also an opportunity for government officials to clarify why explanations were not forthcoming and outline their plans for improved data collection. That was one thing that I thought was particularly interesting, was that they're like, look, we want to be as transparent as possible, so you guys have faith in us that we're not like, hiding some crazy conspiracy, but we also do have to keep certain things secret. If we've uncovered, some new Russian, drone or something like that, we can't let them know that we know that.
See, and
they
this
know.
is, you brought it up. I was going to bring this up, and that's what some people are saying. Like, oh, this is probably another nation's tech that they're testing out, and we just don't know about it. But to me, isn't that a little bit fucking scarier? That if Russia had some flying capabilities that we
Probably not Russia. It's probably like South Korea. South Korea's got all the tech. It's fucking Samsung drones.
Or North Korea for sure. 100%.
Definitely not them. Those are still like remote control helicopters that run on gasoline.
Yeah, they got some dude hand cranking in the back. No, but my thing is, like, if another nation had these flying capabilities
Yes.
that we don't have that technology, we can't catch it, we can barely detect it. Don't you think that they could just strike at any point and just decimate us so fast?
Yeah.
So to me, it's like the fact that, to me, my gut feeling leads me to believe that it's not another nation, because they would have attacked already. It's like if we throughout human history, someone has superior technology and weapons, they're gonna fucking decimate whatever neighbors and take resources. Like,
well, I think part of it too is that we don't actually know the size of what these things are. They could be highly advanced little survey drones, right?
dude,
like
Ant-Man's tiny. Look at what he fucking did. He wrecked shit.
I mean, we also caught him and put him in jail, right?
That's true. That's once we found out.
That's once we found out. Yeah.
We don't know about this technology.
But yeah, so it could be some sort of survey thing. It could be some, thing that like a civilian made, right? And then like they got to find out who that is, and they don't want to let them know that they're onto him, kind of thing. So could be a couple different things. Let's continue here. The Pentagon officials testified under oath that the government had not collected materials from any alien landing on Earth, pushing back on at least one favored conspiracy theory.
Of course, they're not going to tell us that they got it.
Yeah, we're like, we'll tell you off camera. The highlight of the hearing was a split-second image shot last year through the window of an FA-18 fighter jet of a spherical object in the distance, the one we just showed you. It remains unexplained and is an example of how difficult it is to determine what a short video clip may show. Pentagon officials also displayed played a video and displayed an image shot through night vision lenses that showed glowing green triangles in a second recording made this year on the East Coast were determined to be drones. The spooky look the spooky look being an artifact of the lens used to produce the imagery. And that was this one right here, which, cool. I mean, everyone's got a freaking 4K camera in their pocket. Why is everything still so grainy? Let's see. This is Scott W. Bray, Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence. This time, other U.S. Navy assets also observed unmanned aerial systems nearby, and we're now reasonably confident that these triangles correlate to unmanned aerial systems in the air. And this is what we mentioned before. The declassified videos were released at the urging of lawmakers as they pledged to bring transparency to an investigation of unexplained reports by military pilots and others that have long been shrouded in stigma, confusion, and secrecy. Now, this is where the good stuff comes, right? The hearing was followed by a classified session where the Pentagon officials could candidly discuss the capabilities and limitations of the cameras and other sensors used to record the images. But also, they're like, we actually know some shit. You know what I mean?
For sure.
In the open session, they said they had to be careful. We do not want potential adversaries to know exactly what we're able to see or understand or how we come to the conclusion, Mr. Bray said. Therefore, disclosure must be carefully considered on a case-by-case basis.
See? I fucking said it that during the pandemic they mentioned, hey, by the way, we have stuff of flying objects that we know is man-made. All right, bye. And it's because they were testing the fucking waters for sure. They're like, all right, let's see how people react. They're already reacting to what was going on with the pandemic. We can release this information, see how it goes. Oh, people didn't freak out that much. All right, let's release a little bit fucking more.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is they don't want people to go too crazy and start conspiracy theories and YouTube channels just devoted to uncovering these things. And they're right, say there is a foreign government out there, whoever it is, right, who has some device that can sneak into U.S. airspace undetected, has no visible signs of propulsion, and can zip around and take pictures of military bases, government buildings, whatever. That's something that they need to figure out quick, right?
100%.
And they don't want to tip off whoever that is who has that we know what that is, right? So that's why they don't say, look, we know this is a freaking South Korean drone or a North Korean drone. We don't know, how it got here. Then those guys would be like, oh shit, we need to improve our drones even more. So it gives them a little leeway to figure out what's actually going on. So I can understand that aspect of it. But it is pretty cool that they are telling us a bunch of stuff oh, we actually do know, that all these unexplained phenomena are happening. So what do you think is, do you think most of these are just one of the terms they used a lot was aerial junk or debris or whatever, Mylar balloons and shit like that?
I think it's interesting that they would come out and tell us that a lot of these are going against the wind. So
against the wind.
That to me right there seems like
they're flying against the wind.
Pretty convincing evidence that if it's either another nation, and I know a lot of people, or at least government-wise, are very hesitant of saying that it could be alien. But I mean, I feel like military-wise, we're one of the most advanced. At least that's what they tell us. I still go back to the point where I can't imagine.
I wouldn't go and flaunted it that we weren't. You know what I mean? They're not gonna be all right. So technically, France has us beat on a couple things. We're fuck. But
I just still can't imagine that if another nation had so much far technology, so much further than what we have, that they wouldn't be doing anything about it other than spying. I don't know. It seems kind of goofy to me.
Right. I could see that for sure. Just a quick aside. So here are some of Bob Seger's most famous songs. All right, Night Moves. Turn the Page, famously covered by Metallica.
Okay,
that was a big one. Against the Wind, as I sang for you already, and then this one's a good one. Like a Rock.
Oh, that's the
Chevy commercial.
Chevy commercial.
Yeah, he did the Chevy commercial.
Why'd you say that? You should have led with that.
Well, you literally kept saying against the wind, and that's the song. Now
you were trying to explain who he was. I'm like, oh, okay.
Now, Christian, if you wanted to talk about something that's like a rock, let's talk about the freaking Mars door, like a rock. so this is something completely separate, but I thought it would be fun to bring up. There's this image of what appears to be like, a lot of people calling it like the alien door on Mars, taken by the newest rover thing. I forget what all the rovers are called, but
who cares?
The one that's up there right now, and like it looks like a pretty legit doorway. Like you could see Luke Skywalker going in there to drink his blue milk or whatever.
For sure,
right? There's also like an image of it from the other side, and you can see it just like ends.
Like
halfway in there.
I'm not too concerned about a Mars door that looks like that.
Yeah,
If
solid structure, it looks square. At least the Martians, at least they're up to building code. You know what I mean?
My thing is, if they're building rock doors, they probably don't have the technology to come over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Not too concerned.
Yeah, it's not even a doorknob on there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, it's just open to the elements. Defeats the purpose of having a door.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about what a Martian's doing if that's what they're up to.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of don't care. Now, if you got spaceships that's coming over here and watching a shower, then it's like, all right, maybe I got a fucking problem.
Exactly. If if the Mars rover like drives by and you hear a little
then I might be.
Like,
then it's like, all right,
those are Star Trek doors.
What the fuck is up with these Martians? What the fuck are they doing? Why are they hiding?
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
are they in the ground?
Why do they have that fake door to lead us astray? Right. But I think you bring up a good point about the UAPs is that, it's hard to tell exactly what they are. And like, I'm sure a lot of them are completely explainable. You know what I mean?
I don't think so.
I think a lot of them are. I think there are some that aren't. You know what I mean? And those are kind of the ones that they're like, hey, we'll talk to you after the hearing about this, right? But, I think, some of them are just going to be like freaking birthday balloons that went up there and they caught a weird, tailwind or something, or like they're being dragged by like a 747, like way up higher. And they're like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah.
Or some straight up Fast and Furious shit. I haven't seen the space
Vin
one
Diesel.
yet. But, whatever the one they go into space, maybe it's that.
It's a Pontiac Fiero or whatever it was that went up in space. Or Elon Musk is just fucking around, It could be another Elon Musk fuckery thing, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Like, he's the type of guy that wouldn't fucking brag about some technology that he
would
has.
tweet about it for sure. He would make sure that everyone on Twitter got it, that's I'm sure that's going to be a thing. He's like, hey, guys, you're all following me now.
He's not buying fucking Twitter. He's not. There's already started talk. He already started talks about like, oh, if they don't clean up their fake accounts, I'm not going to buy it. Which fucking idiot is going to be in the hole with like $1 billion if he backs out of the deal.
Oh my God.
So the contract he's signed, basically, if they drop the deal, he's still giving them like $1 billion. But
But
if you got probably why
if you got $900 billion,
I think he borrowed that shit. Either way. I'm sure Twitter's like, thank you, stupid.
Yeah.
Right on.
Thanks for the billion. Okay, so I think we talked about this a little bit last time we discussed aliens. Like, what do you think best case scenario and worst case scenario for, majority of these things are?
Worst case scenario is we become fucking decimated for resources that we have. Mm-hmm. Best case scenario, they look at us like, oh, look at these poor dum-dums. Like, they're still using fucking fossil fuels. If even fossil fuels for them is a fucking thing, they're like, they're doing what? They're drilling for what?
They're using bone juice?
Yeah. To do what?
Old bone juice?
For what?
Yeah.
Gas propulsion.
And they're burning it? Constantly? Just
I think if anything they saw what might have piqued their interest is like when we started splitting the atom and like making some super dangerous stuff. They're like, oh, these naked apes got some stuff that might be able to kill them.
Took them a while to get here since Hiroshima.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Or best case scenario would become pets. They come over here. Look at them. Little furry things.
I think worst case scenario, like honestly, I think worst case scenario, it's most of these are going to be like I think, from other countries spying on the U.S. and they're just keeping that under wraps. Like to me, that's the scariest thing.
I think that's 100% the scariest thing if another nation is way superior in the
right,
technology.
Exactly. And I feel like again, it would be a country that you wouldn't immediately guess, right? Like I don't think it's Russia. They're still driving tanks from the 80s. Like we see what's happening over in Ukraine. And it's definitely not North Korea. They're still driving tanks from the 70s, so I don't think it's either of them, but like it could be like
China.
Like China is a real concern. Even South Korea or Japan, which we're friendly with, but like what if they're just scoping us out and they're trying to figure out, hey, let's take a run at this shit.
Yeah, speaking Hiroshima, maybe the Japanese are still holding a little bit of a grudge.
They're like, we'll bide our time. Yes. Enjoy our anime and video games. One day we'll get you. Best case scenario, though, like it is like a highly advanced alien race that just wants to fuck us.
I'm down.
Yeah, they're just all hot, like from Mass Effect. You ever play that game?
Nope, still haven't.
Dude, Mass Effect, hot aliens. If you just Google like Mass Effect like sexy or whatever, I'm sure some hot aliens will pop up. I think we haven't even discussed the possibility of time travel. What if these are survey drones from the future
coming over? I wouldn't put it past. Let's see how dumb we used to be.
Yeah, exactly. But there's probably like regulations where they're like, you can't go back to like 2022 because they're kind of onto us. They're like, everyone has these nice camera phones. They're gonna see this shit. And one guy's like, man, how good could it possibly be? They're fucking burning fossil fuel back then, and they're like, they hadn't discovered how to run cars on corn oil yet. And they're like, oh fuck. Or
multiverse. Could be multiverse stuff. I don't know.
Multiverse, yeah.
There's I don't think we didn't talk about predictive programming,
Predictive programming?
Yeah, so the theory is that like when there is something that's a technology that we're gonna release soon that they'll start, or information that's gonna be released soon, we'll start putting it in like media, like books or video games or movies to basically see how like people are like, or how we're going to react to it. Star Trek, you see people with tablets and shit like that, and they're like, oh, like now we have fucking iPad tablets. Or
so this is multiverse, or
I was talking about predictive programs. So basically, we start
from the
showing
future?
Technology that is going to be released soon just to see how people react. So then, like, I guess we'll say the government has a better understanding if people are ready for it or not. I'm not saying I subscribe to this idea. It's just a theory I've heard.
So, like, who would be putting that information out?
The Illuminati, dude. Who else would it fucking be?
Okay.
I don't know if it's the Illuminati. I'm just fucking throwing that out there. It's just something I'd read about. I was like, interesting. I'm not sure if I fucking buy this bullshit.
I'm trying to find
I do see the hot aliens.
Hot aliens. I'm trying to show the people, Christian. I just want to find a good one that doesn't... sometimes you got weird faces on some of these.
Is this from the actual game, or is this like fan art?
I think this is fan art, but it gets the point across. So, hot blue aliens. Like, best case scenario, they're like, hey, we just wanted to make sure you guys weren't crazy because we really like how you guys actually have body hair. Because we obviously don't, because we're blue and aliens.
The odds of an alien race.
Let a guy dream, okay? Got a full beard.
Having similar body types like us. I'm talking about 2 hands, 2 legs.
They just got to have one hole. You know what I'm saying? Just kidding.
You didn't specify where.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Odds are if they're aliens, they get, they've got some cool thing.
What if they don't reproduce like us? What if the females penetrate the males?
I'll give it a good college try.
There you go.
I'll try anything once, Christian. Any final thoughts on the old UAPs? What do you want to see from the future if they hold another one of these hearings?
Fucking an actual alien, man. Contact.
Yeah. Now, for first contact, what would you want it to be like? Do you want it to be like the UFO, tiny green men, where they're just, we have them in a lab somewhere that we've been dissecting since the 60s.
Oh, no. I want to see live talking to the president.
I want freaking Vulcans, you know? You ever watch Star Trek First Contact?
Vulcans are the...
Yeah, it's like Spock.
Yeah, Spock.
Yeah, live long and prosper. Yeah. Yeah, so the idea of First Contact in Star Trek is once a civilization achieves warp speed, even warp 1, which is like the lowest form of warp speed, someone from outer space, in our case it was the Vulcans, they come down, they're like, hey, we noticed that you're kind of starting to fuck around in the galaxy. We figured we'd introduce ourselves so you didn't go all crazy. And then now Star Trek, once Star Trek actually happens, it's like the Federation of Planets. They'll be like, hey guys, you know, we noticed you're doing warp technology, so we figured we'd come down and say hello. We come in peace.
I think it makes sense that they haven't come down. They're like, look what they're doing to each other.
Yeah, I know.
They're still at war with each other. They're not even united amongst themselves.
Yeah, they elected an orange man into the office for 4 years. Now they're not going to let women do what they want with their own bodies. It's like, we don't deserve it.
No.
Yeah.
But come teach us, man. Fucking maybe not technology. That's what I wouldn't want. If they would be like, hey, here's new things that how to murder yourselves with. Like, don't give us new stuff just yet. Maybe just come over and teach us to be civil.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
They're like, you know, how would they do that though? They'd be like, here's empirical evidence that God doesn't exist. So conservatives, you can all get fucked, right? Like,
what if it's the opposite? They're like, hey, so like Jesus, we know that guy.
Yeah. Like
he comes.
Here's video of him.
Yeah.
He's like, watch me go fuck with these idiots down there. I'm going to tell them I'm the son of God.
It's like, wait, you've met Jesus? Like, well, he's like, you guys met Jesus too? Us humans like, well, yeah, we met him like once. He like came down. Oh, cool. How'd that go?
I mean, things got really out of hand really quick.
So he comes to our planet all the fucking time.
Yeah. Yeah, we like, you know, we you know, he hasn't come around in like 2,000 years though. So if you guys, when did you guys see him? We're like, ooh.
He was here like yesterday. He was here like yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, it was, you know, it was maybe 3-4 years ago, but you know, he left and, you know, definitely wasn't nailed to a cross.
It's like, what?
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 That's a very specific. Like, oh god, we murdered the alien messiah. Yeah, you know, I hope that in future hearings we do get a little bit more information. You know, I think it's a little ambitious to say we'll get like a fucking like, oh, by the way, aliens are real, right anytime soon. But I think best case scenario, you know, what I'd hope for, you know, because I think hoping that we get like actual alien proof is a little ambitious, but I would hope that we would get some high-res photos of like something they had seen, reported on, investigated, and then figured out. You know what I mean? Like here's a different angle of it. You can see it's just, you know, a quadcopter that someone wrapped in aluminum foil. You know, like I would want a little bit more of that. Like I feel like I was a little let down with these grainy photos that they're like, yeah, we think those were drones, you know, but we couldn't reproduce it. But, you know, we're pretty sure that's what it was. I want like some more concrete stuff. That's what I would really hope for in any future hearings.
You know what's not going to happen is they're definitely not going to let us inside the ships for a very long time.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
It's like, can you imagine you drive your car and there's a bunch of raccoons? You're driving like a Ferrari.
I don't have to imagine it, Christian. It's happened.
And a bunch of raccoons, if for whatever reason we could communicate. Can I go inside? No, 100%. Definitely not.
It's impressive that you can talk as a raccoon, but still no.
Like, but no. I don't want you pressing buttons in here, getting your grubby little hands. Like, no.
Well, they're not grubby.
Yeah. Admire it from at least 10 feet away.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, now we're small. Well, okay, we got to end this thing quick because camera's starting to overheat. Again, still figuring things out, but hopefully it looked great up until then. Make sure to check out patreon.com/nerdswithfriends. Help support the show and maybe get a camera that won't overheat. And then let us know down in the comments. Like and subscribe. You know, let us know what you thought of the Congressional UAP hearings. We do like to hear from you guys. Christian, as always, Thank you for being the little green man in the room. I don't
I
know.
hope you don't get probed.
I hope I do get probed.
Nice.
To all the nerds out there, remember, you're not alone. You're with friends, and the truth is out there. This is Nerds with Friends. Thank you and good night.